You know, it really wasn't very long ago that we hit $2,000 an ounce gold. Today it is sitting at just over $2,500, and it's been pretty consistently around that price point for the last couple of weeks. But how long will it stay at that price? And more importantly, how are stackers and gold buyers reacting to the new price of gold? Well, today we're going to be talking with a coin shop owner who's going to tell us just that. We're going to talk to him about $2,500 gold, what we see coming in the future, and more importantly, how the people buying gold are reacting to the new gold price. So let's get into it. But before we do me a favor, don't forget to like and subscribe and help us continue to grow because we're at almost 200,000 subscribers and I'd love for you to be one of them. Another year, another monster box of silver. For 2024, SD Bullion is giving away a full monster box of their 1 ounce silver Tree of Life coins. You can enter this giveaway all year, but I suggest that you do it now by going to sdbullion.com/sweepstakes and make sure you enter today. Thank you to SD Bullion for sponsoring my channel. Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we are joined by a coin dealer named Keith from the Coin Crew. Keith, how are you today?
I'm doing okay. How are you, Seeker?
I am doing well, and I want to get right into it. The gold price today is at $2,500, $2,520, I should say. And for the last couple of weeks, it's been pretty consistently around that $2,500 level. Now, many of my viewers believe that gold is overpriced and will draw back. What are your thoughts on the current gold price? Do you expect it to pull back? Is this the new norm, or what's going on?
I think we might be looking at the new norm. However, there is a chance that it'll pull back, but if it does, I don't think it's going to pull back very far.
So why is that? Why do you think that this might be the new norm, and why do you think if it pulls back, it won't be a large one?
Well, people just don't trust the fiat dollar. I mean, that's the only way I can say it. I mean, in simplest terms, people have little faith in what the buy power will be for the fiat in the future. But when it comes to gold, they're almost positive that they're going to, hold their value, hold their spending power.
Yeah, a lot of people look at gold as a hedge against inflation, even more so than silver. And it's certainly done a good job of showing that, these last few years. I mean, $2,500 an ounce. I remember when it first crossed $2,000 an ounce not that long ago, and everyone was excited. Now we're looking at 22 or 25. I mean, it's amazing to see what it's done in such a short amount of time. How are your customers reacting to the current gold prices? Are they still buying, or do you have people selling to try and get out while it's high?
I do have buyers still, but there has been a lot more sellers in the market. People looking to take just a little bit of their profits off the table. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's no, bad juju or whatever you want to call it against taking some of your profits. However, I do recommend that keep a lot of it on hand. Don't just sell everything.
Okay. And that's coming from someone who, you'd like them to sell you your gold, right?
Yeah, I want you to sell me your gold. But I don't want you to sell me all your gold because I do think in the future, I think there's that possibility that we're going to have a 10 or 20% raise from here.
Yeah. The reason I said that, coming from somebody that wants you to sell the gold is hearing someone say, hey, I'd love for you to sell me your gold, but honestly, I think you should keep it. I think that says a lot about, what your belief is in the market. So these gold prices, you said customers are taking some profits. Let me ask you, is it like a good split, like let's say 25-75, or is it like 50-50? And are you seeing more people sell today than you did back when it first hit 2000 as an all-time high, not that long ago?
I think every time it reaches a new high, I think I'm seeing at or about the same amount of sellers. However, the buyers this time around have increased slightly too, because people don't think it's going to stop.
So when people come in to buy, what are they buying? Are they sticking to like the lower premium gold, like maples and eagles, or even something lower like bars? I mean, what are they looking to get? And then that being said, with it being 2,500, are they buying 1 ounce at a time, or are you having a lot of people buy fractional?
I'm having more people buy 1 ounce gold than normal. However, they're still buying fractional, and they're not necessarily looking for the least expensive premium. They're just looking for a coin that they feel comfortable with buying, which most commonly is the gold buffalo, the maple, and the gold eagle. Those are the 3 they like the most.
So on that, you said people are liking like the US gold, like the American Eagles and the Buffaloes. There was a report that came out a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you saw it or not, but there was an audit of the US Mint that proved that they actually weren't sourcing gold from the US like they were supposed to. In other words, the gold that goes into our Eagles or Buffaloes, supposed to be sourced in the US, and they've not been sourcing it from the US. Now, personally, I don't think that's big of a deal. As long as it's gold, it's gold. You know, the US is still producing the coin itself. They're still minting it here in the US. But have any of your customers, brought that up? Has it been an issue or a concern for them?
Well, that's a pretty big question, so I'm going to try to handle it all. I have not read the article or heard about it. My customers, I don't think they really care where the gold comes from. I think they care about it being produced right here in the US.
That's where I am too. I kind of said that. It's like they're still producing it in the US. I didn't really, there was a lot of people that tried to make a big story out of it. I really didn't think it was a big deal, but it does show you, and we don't get political on the channel, but it's just another example of government not doing what they say they were going to do, though.
Yeah, you know how our government is. I'll do this, but I'm saying I'm doing that.
Right, for sure. So you said they're sticking to Eagles, they're sticking to Buffaloes, Maple, stuff that they trust. People are still buying fractional. When they buy the fractional, are they still buying coins? Are they buying bars? Like, are 10th ounce Eagles, quarter ounce, half ounce? What's going on?
When they buy the fractional, they tend to go for like 1 to 5 gram bars. And on the coins, they prefer the Gold Eagle on the 10th ounce. I mean, it has a bigger premium over, a Kookaburra, a Koala, or a Krugerrand, but they still choose the Eagle and the bar for inexpensive premium.
Okay, so with the 10th ounce Eagle, let's say ratio, how many of those are you selling per ounce per ounce? So you're selling like 2 ounces of 1 ounces versus an ounce of 10th ounces at a time, or
I'll
yeah.
sell about probably 1 for 1.
Okay, so just
I'll
as
sell 1 1 ounce and 1 10th ounce. I mean, if I had to put a ratio on it.
well, I don't mean 1 for 1, but let's say 1 ounce of 1 ounce Eagles and 1 ounce of 10th ounce Eagles. Is that what you mean?
No, I mean 1 1 ounce gold coin and 1 1/10 ounce gold coin.
Gotcha. Okay, so they're buying the quantity of gold and fractional at about a tenth of what they're doing the 1 ounces.
Yes.
Is
Yes,
that
that's
primarily to keep that premium low?
I think that's what they're doing. They're trying to keep the premium low and keep with the American stuff. However, if people really want the low premium, they'll go for, something like a Valcambi breakaway bar or something. Those are the least expensive gold bars there are for 1 grams.
Okay. So whenever I ask a coin dealer about if they'd recommend gold or silver, I generally don't ask them that directly because, I believe that a coin dealer obviously is going to be biased. They're going to say, of course you should buy gold. Of course you should buy silver. So I want to ask you this question about gold right now. If somebody had made a decision, they already made the decision. You're not talking them into spending the money on gold. They're already going to spend it on gold. What would you lead them towards? Would you lead them towards fractional, or would you tell them to stick with the 1 ounces for the lowest premium? What would you say?
Honestly, pay the higher premium, get the fractional. Because what happens in the future as gold continues to rise, by having the 1 ounce coin, you're going to limit the exposure you have to buyers. Not as many people can afford five or even $10,000 for a 1 ounce coin if it gets up there. But they can't afford, a lot more people can afford the 500 to 1,000 for a 1/10 ounce coin.
Fair enough.
I recommend paying the higher percentage. It's going to bite you a little bit in the beginning, but in the long run, you're going to have a wider pool of buyers, which will help you resell your gold.
So what you're saying is it'll be a lot easier to sell a 10th ounce or two than it will be a 1 ounce, especially if it gets to $5,000 to $10,000 per ounce.
Yes, that is correct.
Now, I know you're a lot like me. You don't try and predict the gold price, and I don't think anybody can. But when you mentioned $5,000 to $10,000 per ounce, do you think that's possible? I'm not saying do you think it'll happen. Do you think it's possible?
I think it's possible. And the reason why I say that is because the worse off our fiat becomes, the higher gold is going to be. Because gold is priced in a world stage. It's not just the US dollar. But if our dollar is not worth nothing, that means gold is going to be worth more on the US dollar basis.
Right. So it's not necessarily that gold will be worth more in trade for goods and services, but let's say tomorrow we wake up and our dollar's worth half of what it is today. Naturally, gold's $5,000. Is that what you're
And
saying?
that's exactly my point. What I'm trying to make is when you're basing the gold price against a fiat currency, your gold will still buy the same amount of stuff no matter where that currency goes. And as you all know, fiat currency, it just keeps going down in value.
There's no doubt about that. Anyone who spends their money, just compare the last 4 or 5 years, it's pretty phenomenal. Um, Ironically, you can get a lot less gold and a lot less silver today than you could 4 years ago, also. Let me ask you, I want to touch on silver a little bit, though, bringing that up. You know, Many people say that silver hasn't done a very good job of keeping up with inflation. But, I was thinking back to it. And of course, with silver, there are times where clearly it was not the right time to buy. 2011 when it was 50 an ounce, 1980 when it was 50 an ounce, which is like $200 an ounce today if you adjusted for inflation. But if you look at it, before the last 4 years, before COVID, I mean, silver was what, $17 an ounce, $16 an ounce, $14 an ounce at one point?
Yeah, it was kind of all over the place. I remember from 2006 all the way to about 2020, it ranged from a low of 6 to a high of 50, and then right back down to about 17, $18 in 2020. At some points, it was as low as 11 in 2020.
Yeah. So my point is if you look at it on that scale, if you look at it on this recent surge of inflation and prices going up, silver's actually done a pretty decent job if you look at it sitting at $30 an ounce as we record this video, right?
Yeah, that is correct. But you also have to look at the point when you bought your silver. The most important thing to remember about buying silver and gold is your entry point. It's just like buying stock or anything. You can buy a great company or you can buy gold, which is a great product, but you can buy it at a bad point. Therefore, it won't serve you any good. You will lose money.
Exactly. Like I just mentioned, 1980, 2011, both of those points would have been a bad time.
Entry point is the best thing to go by. And in order to time that entry point, which you cannot do, you just buy it steadily, week after week, whether you spend $10, $100, or $1,000. You just cost average it out because the entry point will work itself out in the end by doing that.
Fair enough. Well, I'm going to ask you another question and try and be as unbiased as you can when I ask you this, because again, you're a coin dealer, you're biased. Do you think $30 an ounce silver is a good entry point?
I think it's a great entry point. There's a lot of things going on. There's some new technology going on with the electric vehicles, although they have slowed down in sales a lot. But if they replace that lithium battery, each one of the new batteries that they're working on, it contains 5 grams of silver per cell. And each cell, or I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Each battery has 200 cells. That's 1 kilo of silver in each of the new batteries. And I did read an article that they're going to Toyota or is going to try those new batteries out in their Lexus because they have a higher premium, higher margin on that.
Oh, you're talking about the new batteries that they're coming out with, not the ones currently in production, right?
Not the ones currently. So you're going to be looking, out of 80 million cars produced at or about, you figure 20% of them being EVs, and they're going to start this probably in about 2027. What's it going to do to the silver market? I don't know, because silver is industrial price. There's going to be those big guys in the world running these big companies. Oh, we can't have it go up. They're going to keep trying to push silver down, but eventually they're not going to be able to. Silver is going to go up. So I think 30 is a great entry point at today.
So they're basically going to use the COMEX to suppress the price of silver so they can buy it physical cheap.
Yeah, it's all that paper stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. And the reason I was clear on that, first off, I just want to be very clear for the viewers. I had not heard that. But there has been, rumors that current EVs have like a kilo of silver in them. And that is just not true. But I have,
No, it's not.
Right. But I have not heard about this new battery, EV battery that you've been talking about. So that is some research I'm going to do. And maybe I'll share that on the channel for my viewers once I learn some more.
I read something, and I don't quote me on this. It's some kind of SS technology or something rather.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a pretty interesting topic.
Well, SS stands for solid state. I know about solid state.
That's okay. So
yeah, I know about solid state batteries. I just didn't know they use so much silver. So definitely want to do some research there. All right, Keith. Well, anyway, that's pretty much everything I had today. But was there something you wanted to share with the viewers today, about the silver or gold market that you think they should know?
I think if you need to sell, try not to sell at all, because silver, gold, both, you're going to be happy you had it in 5 or 10 years.
I'm happy I have it now, but I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah. I think in 5 or 10 years, we're going to see a totally different market than we do today. I think it's going to be higher, much higher.
All right.
Hold on to what you got.
Sounds good. Well, Keith, I really appreciate you joining me. Guys, Keith is a coin shop owner out of Muskegon, Michigan. The name of his shop is Coin Zone. Visit him. Check him out if you haven't done so yet. He also has a YouTube channel called Coin Crew. I'm going to put a link in the description below. Go give him a sub. He'd appreciate it. Keith, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So I hope you learned a little bit today by talking to Keith about what's going on in his coin shop with both his buyers and his sellers. Guys, I'd love to know what you think, though, about $2,500 gold. Is it going to stay here? Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? Obviously, nobody can actually predict the market, but I would love to know your thoughts. So leave a comment down below. Do me a favor, don't forget to subscribe before you go, and we'll see you in the next video.